The 2020 Democratic presidential field is big and getting bigger. Kamala Harris of California has tried to be the most left-wing of the candidates, but suddenly that's not so easy. Hillary Clinton has said that she hasn't ruled out a run, so expect an announcement any day or a non-announcement. And then in a Sunday interview, the CEO of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, said that he might run as an independent. He was immediately attacked by Democrats as a Jill Stein equivalent. Chaos, basically. Fox Washington correspondent Kristen Fisher has been following this and joins us tonight. Hey, Kristen.
Hey, Tucker. Well, Kamala Harris, she sure spent a lot of time in that speech going after President Trump and his policies. She called his wall a medieval vanity project, and she called his policy of separating families at the border a human rights abuse. As for her own policies, though, she's proposing tax reform that would reverse the Republican-passed tax cuts, criminal justice reform. She says that she's running so no parent has to teach their young son that police officers, and I'm quoting here, stop him, arrest him, chase him, or kill him because of his race. And she also wants universal pre-K and debt-free college and Medicare for all. Now, on that last point, another possible 2020 contender is calling free health care as false a promise as the wall. The Starbucks billionaire Howard Schultz is infuriating many Democrats by threatening to run as an independent, which could split the anti-Trump vote and help him win a second term.
I am seriously thinking of running for president. I will run as a centrist independent outside of the two-party system. We're living at a most fragile time. Not only the fact that this president is not qualified to be the president, but the fact that both parties are consistently not doing what's necessary on behalf of the American people and are engaged every single day in revenge politics.
And since we're speaking of revenge politics, Hillary Clinton may be considering running again. CNN is reporting that Clinton has told people that she's not closing the doors to the idea of running in 2020, but there are other reports that say that that report is not true. So it's still a long shot, but Tucker, I think it's safe to say that President Trump wouldn't mind running against her again in 2020.
That'd be a remarkable race.
Wouldn't it?
We would cover that gladly. Kristen Fisher, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Author and columnist Mark Stein has spent endless hours at the dog track and always wins, so he's perfectly qualified to handicap all political races, including this one. Mark, great to see you. Who jumps
that mechanical hair is not going to run, Tucker.
No,
we are not going to be seeing a third Hillary Clinton term. I bet
that's true. So who jumps out? Does anyone jump out as interesting, as saying something unexpected, as maybe the Trump of this cycle on the left?
Well, what's interesting, I think, about this cycle, and that's another reason why Hillary is all wrong for it, is that this time round, and it's unfortunate for Bernie Sanders himself, but actually everyone is running as Bernie. If you look at Kamala Harris's platform, free pre-kindergarten for everybody. Even if you think that's a good idea, do you want a secretary of pre-K in Washington organizing that for 350 million people? The universal health care, the universal free college, this is a party that is actually moving left at an astonishing rate. And the difference between now and then when Hillary ran is that basically everyone is Bernie. Everyone is Bernie, and there's no room for a Hillary. Even old Joe Biden, when he stands up there, he doesn't even know the term systemic racism. He keeps calling it systematic racism, and systematic is what slavery was. And all the nice editors correct it for him and clean it up for him in his speech. But he's basically trying to be Bernie Sanders, too.
Poor guy. He's too old to be woke. What about Bernie himself? I mean, does he have a shot in a field full of lookalikes?
Well, that's an interesting question. I happen to be every so often in the adjoining booth in my corner of northern New England at the diner to Bernie's key advisors. And they actually figure out that if you're as old as Bernie is, then running against the 74-year-old incumbent is your best shot. And it's actually an interesting question whether the reason Bernie can get away with full-blown socialism is because he is so old, and that when you actually hang it around someone in the relative bloom of youth, like Kamala Harris, whether that doesn't actually make the full horror of the unaffordable lavishness of the program seem more evident.
That's a deep point. I think it's easier to take from Bernie because you at least say, well, he's like a kind of legitimate Soviet. You know, he was old enough to remember.
Well, like he's like the genial old uncle. It seems less menacing. As for the Starbucks guy, when it's polls are closing in Florida at 7 o'clock, that's the only place in America where the lines are longer and slower than Starbucks. So this is a natural career move for that guy, I would say.
Yeah, he's the world's biggest operator of homeless shelters now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Starbucks, Markstein, great to see you. I know, sorry, that was
Thanks a lot.